Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Mike's Instant Movie Review on the road. We'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm fine. So, Longlegs movie, what did I think? Should you go see it? Should you go not? If you're a horror enthusiast, aficionado, yeah, go see it. I really don't think you have to see it, though, to be honest with you. Maybe I've just seen too many movies lately, but this one, it felt like it was trying too hard to be deep and edgy and scary and somewhat retro. The beginning of the movie, we have like a fucking whatever the fuck, what's it called? The aspect ratio was like 4:3, the TV ratio, and then that ratio was kind of used for flashbacks, and then more modern time stuff was used in the full length of the scope of the goddamn screen. So I don't know, everything felt very pushed, everything felt very forced. The opening credits has a quote from T-Rex, 1970s. And then we'd hear that song at the end credits. And I don't know, just what else? Opening credits had some interesting names. Blair Underwood, who I believe that he was on a show, Sunny Spoon, 30 or 40 or whatever the fuck years ago. So Blair Underwood's got to be 65 years old at this point. I will give him credit. He looks great. He looks like a guy 30 years younger than what he probably is. And then another name, blast from the past, Alicia Witt. I believe the name, Alice Witt or Alicia Witt. You're probably not knowing who the hell that was, but for a cup of coffee, she was like one of the hottest actresses in the world. Not maybe career-wise, but physicality, beauty. I believe she had a supporting role on The Sopranos, as assholes would say. I used to say The Sopranos, but enough assholes told me it was The Sopranos that now I say it the correct way, okay, for all the fucking singers out there. But yeah, Alicia Witt or Alice Witt was really a hot little number. And when she finally came onto the screen, she plays the mother. The character's got to be 55 or so, but I don't know. She still looks kind of good. So there you go. And Nicolas Cage is listed. And then who's Nicolas Cage playing? Well, he's playing our title character, who is the creep, Longlegs. So the movie advertisement or advertisement, you might say, had some comparison. The filmmakers or the distributors or whoever the fuckers, the marketers, trying to yank some quote out of their ass, or some reviewer saying some comparison to Silence of the Lambs. Well, that's a bit of a stretch, folks. Story-wise, you have a female character in this who works for the FBI, and that's about as far as it goes. And you have like some creep character in the Silence of the Lambs. You have a couple. You have, Anthony Hopkins, but of course he's not the real creep. He's like the guy who's trying to cut himself a deal. And in this, you have the Nicolas Cage Longlegs, and the big spoilers, by the way. The big mystery of who's the assistant, who is Longlegs' helper. I saw that coming a mile a fucking way. Oh, it's your fucked up mother. So here's my thing for you folks. How I would have improved this movie. I feel like this is one of those movies that relies on the big reveal towards the end to put everything together. And like in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, things actually get interesting and they pick up. Because that's when we see all the treachery and all the psychoticness and all the criminality that was going on between Longlegs, who is a creepy character, by the way. The aesthetic, the nose prosthetic was pretty creepy. But all this shit going on between Longlegs and Mom was pretty dark and demented, and the dolls. It's all pretty good horror shit, but it's all held off until the last 15 minutes of the movie. So yes, we have a nice scare early in the movie, a jump scare if you were, when we get the intro to Longlegs, and we have a shooting early in the film. The FBI helper gets shot. But I felt like the best part of this movie was all stacked at the end of it. And if they had edited this movie in a different way, and I don't have a copy of the fucking screenplay, and I don't know if how they filmed this thing or wrote this thing would even allow for it, but a re-edit of basically taking all that interesting stuff at the end and unveiling it like an onion, throughout the film, I think that would have served me better as an audience member to enjoy this thing, or at least be more riveted. I wasn't riveted. Now, once again, I always say this, sometimes what you bring into the auditorium, what you bring as an audience member into the movie-going experience is going to help dictate your enjoyment or lack therein of the film. Now, for this movie, I was all excited to go see it. I wanted to see it before the tidal wave of assholes that'll go see it and put all their fucking opinions on Twitter and X and all this other Instagram horse shit. I wanted to be one of the early assholes to go see it, put my opinion out there. Of course, I keep my opinion behind the play button of this YouTube video. I don't write out my opinion for people to casually read it and ruin it. That's the integrity that I have with Mike's Instant Movie Review. That being said, I go to see this thing, and for whatever reason, as soon as I get into the theater, I just got hit with a wave of, I'm tired. And it's like, I really didn't want to be tired. I wasn't looking to be tired. You know what I mean? But I just was. So I'm just being honest with you that perhaps had my energy level been a little bit higher, maybe I would have been more into this thing. But I just felt like I was just watching a couple of years ago, maybe 2 summers ago, maybe 3, I don't know. Was it called The Black Telephone with Ethan Hawke? And this is like the new thing where these once upon a time A-list actors, Nicolas Cage or Ethan Hawke, they hit a certain point in their lives or their careers where maybe they're no longer resonating as the leading man with the audience, or the audience is so, they don't know who Ethan Hawke is, they barely know who Nicolas Cage is. So these guys, they just want work, and so they do these horror films, but they never really showed much love to horror earlier in their careers, right? But they want that nice paycheck. I don't know, just a thought. But I think that Black Telephone movie, that's what this Longlegs movie wants to be. It wants to be like that. Now, here's my deal. And I believe I did do a review of The Black Telephone. That movie, yes, it's scary, it's horrific, it's everything. But because it's children being assaulted and murdered and ghosts of children, I didn't enjoy it. It's okay, yeah, that's a horror film, all right, but I didn't enjoy myself. I do enjoy horror quite a bit, but I guess everyone has their little comfort zones, and mine is pretty, out there. I can deal with a lot of horror shit, but certain things just cross the line for me where it's okay, this is too much, I'm not enjoying this. And I think Saw is what I can pinpoint. I saw the original Saw way back when, and I was glued to my seat. I could not leave the auditorium. But as soon as the movie was over, I'm okay, I think this is going to lead to a whole generation of serial killers. And I never saw any of the Saw sequels, okay? And the black telephone, I kind of felt like, okay, I saw it. It was pretty demented and scary and all that horse shit, but I don't want to see this one again. It was well made. And this, this one tonight, this Longlegs, I don't want a sequel. I don't want a prequel. I don't want Sister of Longlegs or whatever the fuck. I will say that, yes, perhaps it was me, partially to blame for my own lack of enjoyment, just not energy-wise, wasn't up, probably seen too many movies lately. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It just felt very forced. Just like, oh, here's another creepy character. Here's another mystery. Here's another FBI agent who has ESP. And it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like I've seen all this horse shit before. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like, oh, this is in the tradition of Silence of the Lambs. It felt like this is trying to be in the tradition of the Silence of the Lambs. This is really trying and not succeeding, in my opinion. Now, it's nice to see Alicia Witt still getting work. I mean, it was probably some producer or director who had a hard-on for her 20 years ago, and now he's in a position to get a movie made. So he's looking up his Rolodex of hot actresses that he used to fantasize about, and he's pulling her out of the woodwork. Who knows? I mean, that's just interesting to me. Maybe I've missed out on some wonderful Netflix series or some wonderful Hulu series that all you fine folks have been watching and I haven't. Because it seems like all these people, Winona Ryder in Stranger Things, and all these actors who I thought they were just done are all doing these wonderful TV series that I don't watch. So maybe Alice Witt or Alicia Witt's been doing something. But in any regard, nice to see her on the big screen. Blair Underwood, like I said, kind of the same cloth of my buddy there, Mario Van Peebles. But Blair looked very good. Like I said, he's probably playing a character like his wife in this movie. Legitimately is probably 20 or 30 years younger than him in real life, okay? But Blair Underwood looks phenomenal for a man of his distinction. I did think that one thing that I think that an element of this movie, Longlegs, that was, first, I can't remember if there was any rhyme or reason for the name Longlegs. I'm sure there was. I just can't remember. It's not like Nicolas Cage in particular has very long legs, or his character did. Maybe I'm forgetting something. I know he did a little Longlegs poem or some type of riddle or horse shit. But the doll thing, although, yes, I mean, when you hear dolls, now you're going to think of Megan and back in the day, good old Chucky. But I did like that element of this creep is creating these horrific dolls and like putting them in the houses and using the church lady gimmick as his intro into their homes. I thought that was like a creepy thing. Had that been dispersed throughout the film instead of all back-ended, I would have think it would be more successful creatively, okay? But nope, they didn't do it the way that I would do it. What else? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I feel like this movie was just trying very hard. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it felt like it didn't have that wonderful A24 fucking logo on it, so I guess it wasn't an A24 movie, but it felt like it was trying to be. And I don't know. It didn't resonate with me. I mean, maybe with 10 out of 11 assholes it will, but I'm the 11th asshole tonight. It just didn't do it for me. Like I say, partially, perhaps, I've just seen too many movies lately, so I just wasn't up for it. Thought I was. Getting besieged with this shit. I don't know. It felt like a movie that I should have liked, and I didn't. And I would stand on the theorem or the theory that they should have taken some of that storyline stuff at the end and put it throughout the film, okay? Might have helped the scenario. Oh, God. So that's it. What else? Is there anything else I can say about this steaming pile of... No, it wasn't that bad. The female lead chick was okay. I did like the whole psychic thing. I felt like this movie had some good stuff going for it. It just wasn't working for me. And like I said, maybe you thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, if you hadn't seen a good horror movie or any horror movie in a month or two or several, then this one might shock you to the core. But if you saw The Black Telephone 2 or 3 summers ago, you let me know in the comments, because I'm going to sit there and read them all, okay, of what you thought was scarier or darker or better or whatever the fuck. But, I mean, nobody's been talking about The Black Telephone for 2 or 3 years either, so I guess no one gives a flying fuck about that one either. So anyway, folks, Nicolas Cage continuing his comeback of sorts, you know, whatever, great. Nice to see Alice Witt and Blair Underwood get work and whoever the fuck else. But I don't know. It wasn't that great. MikeMessier.com, One Man and a Camera Films. My YouTube channel has all my wonderful films. Disregard the Vampire. A Mike Messier documentary is a wonderful piece of work. One artist, Mike Messier, for all my wonderful artwork. Oh, you want to see a piece? You want to see a piece of art that I did? Okay, since you fucking insisted. Look at that. That's more quality art than this film I just saw. Okay. What else? One pro wrestling and sports fan, one Mike Messier.